in this world, this universe that I have created called Ego and Vice, there are no rules. There are no strings holding me down. Things are going to change around here, my friends. Oh, times, they are a-changin'.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Wanna raise the inside TV, lower class punk ass, I was Northwood grade. I had it made. Spent my nights drinking with my mates. Just a short bus ride up to PA. Red River Raid. Then I hit the wall and I knew I had to bounce. They still say that 19 years ago, hell, I got the hell out. From time to time you may see me hanging around. Now I feel like a stranger in this town. Crocs and rolls is where I learned to play. Westwood Tavern's where I learned to walk away. With an intact face, hanging down in Simpson with Tord and Jay. We were the cornerstone brigade. I miss you guys every day. Then I hit the wall and I knew I had to bounce. 19 years ago, well, I got the hell out. From time to time you may see me hanging round, but now I feel like a stranger in this town. I can't believe they closed the In-Towner. Met the love of my life on Ottawa and Bay. Felt like I lost her the same day. But there's no names. Yeah, then I hit the wall. I knew I had to bounce. Sure they still say that 19 years ago, I got the hell out. Oh, from time to time you may see me hanging around. Now I feel like a stranger in this town.
Hey, this is Grace from Passenger Princess, and you're listening to Ego and Vice.
Hey, this is Ego and Vice. Welcome back. My name is
Is this better? Okay. This is Max, and you are listening to Ego and Vice. We are currently in South Hood Studios with the one, the only, the getting old and tired, GOAT. How's it going?
It's going good. I'm a little tired, actually.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you're getting old and tired.
I am getting old and tired. It's funny how the band 15 years later is still called Getting Old and Tired when 15 years ago it was Getting Old and Tired. You think it'd be like like Getting Old and Dead by now.
Yeah, or you could be adding maybe some O's or some A's in there to really extend it. But if anything, being consistent is important. So
What about
that is commendable.
What about Groat? GROAT. Getting really old and tired.
That's the next evolution, if anything. That's maybe the next album title, if anything.
Grow a eat. Getting old and extremely tired.
One day that EP is going to come out. But thank you for coming to the show today. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having let's celebrate having each other.
Exactly.
Yes.
Welcome, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Thank you, Max. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Max.
Thanks, Max.
Let's, I guess, go around and see who's sitting with us today.
My name is Mike. I love the studio. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's very it's someone put a lot of time into this place to make the guests feel comfortable.
How many hours specifically?
About a couple of weeks. And so I've heard. And I think they did a really good job. And you know what? Since no one's complimented the person who did it, I'm going to say whoever did this, thanks, because I feel right at home. I am the singer and the guitar player in the band Getting Old and Tired.
Buenas tardes, me llamo Javier, me dicen Cowboy. Yo toco el bajo en la banda Goat y estoy muy feliz de estar aquí con ustedes.
Okay.
All right. My name's Mike. I am the percussionist, future vocalist of Goat.
The fuck?
Is there a plot to take over?
What did I miss?
Well, no, I mean, you just don't know my potential yet. I'm working on it.
Right. We are working on some backing vocals for a project in the future, for the future stuff,
yeah.
but it is a work in progress.
Very work, very progress.
That's right.
So let's start with basics. Let's go through the origins. Where did this all start?
The origins of Goat. We'd have to go back as far as me and Mike, the drummer,
Yes.
the percussionist, pardon me, future vocalist, are from Thunder Bay, Ontario. We met through a mutual friend named Ian Corcoran.
Corky.
And I picked up Mike one day in the middle of a Thunder Bay winter, and all I had was a little Mazda B2200 two-seater, and I already had a guest in the passenger seat, so I think it was like a February or January, minus fucking like 30 Thunder Bay. Threw his drums and himself in the back of the truck, into the box of the truck, and we drove across town. And I kept looking
cold.
at
It was freezing cold.
Yeah, and I kept looking at the rearview mirror going, look at this guy, because he was like older than us, and I'm like, look at this guy. What are we hanging out with this fucking guy, this old guy for? But then he turned out to be a really good drummer, like a really good drummer, and we just started jamming, and since then, we've had a few dips and peaks and valleys in our career, but I'd say the original Goat, Getting Old and Tired, started when we were young.
Yes.
Not in name, but in partnership, I'd suppose.
So he was a good drummer. What happened?
Well, with age, everyone slows down a little.
You get old and tired? Is that what happens?
That's right.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you remember of the start of our union, if you will, musicianship? Drawing a blank.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank here.
Yeah.
Well, what was the first memory that you would have had whenever you were jamming together? Was there anything specific that would have told you, this is the band that I want to be in for the next?
I don't know. He was like a hardcore skater. I wasn't really. I was more into like death metal, and you reminded me of more of a skater, like a punk skater.
Thunder Bay had a very small, kind of like any music community, Thunder Bay had a very small circle of people that actually played in bands, and I think for the first 10 years of my music career, I was in like maybe 3 different bands with the same 10 people.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We would just mix it up or whatever. One time we were in a band with the same 4 people, but we were 2 bands, 2 different names. We'd play one show as a band called I Refuse, which was a punk show.
Yeah.
And then we'd play a show with the exact same band, exact same guys on the exact same instruments, and we were called Mother Bud, which was like this Pink Floyd-y psychedelic kind of drug-induced like fucking mushroom trip of a band, fronted by a guy named Darren Myastic, who was the main songwriter, who lives in Edmonton right now, or Calgary, I believe. How's it going, Darren? What's up?
Darren. Hey, Darren.
That's cool, though. So around when did Goat move over to Ottawa? How did that end up progressing?
I made the first move. I decided I had to get out of Thunder Bay, and I had the opportunity to move with some friends. They were going to university, so I jumped to my van and we all cruised up to Ottawa. I called Mike about 4 months later, telling him he has to move to Ottawa and we have to start jamming here in Ottawa.
Yeah, and he harassed me for a bit, and I wasn't going to go, and then I had a bad day at work, and I said, fuck it, and I sold everything I owned, and I crammed everything into my 1985 and a half 2-liter 2.4 Mustang, that I had spray painted flat black with trim clad.
Cool.
It was hot. It was hot.
That's cool.
And I drove to Ottawa and we started a band. We were on at 384 Bronson Avenue, and we converted the basement, this fucking dirty mold, there had to have been black mold down there, into like a jam spot. And we started that punk band, which was basically just a 3-piece again, like it's always been. It was called I Refuse, and we played in that band for probably in Ottawa maybe about 4 years.
About 4 years.
Problem is that being in a band together when you're in your like early 20s, I guess, mid 20s, and living together, that's a hard arrangement.
Bad news. Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're sharing bills and you're sharing quarters and you're sharing shit. And me and Mike, God love him, he's one of my oldest friends in the world, but we have very different lifestyles and different things that we, you know, I'm fussy and picky, and I'm sometimes I get kind of out of my mind. But back in the day, I used to drink a lot, and I was very kind of irresponsible with money and shit like that. And I got really behind in bills, and I got really behind in shit. And Mike ended up carrying the brunt of that, and it got heated. And then we got in a fight, and then I think he kicked me out of the house, or
Well, I think you left.
I think I left. Who knows? And then that was kind of it. Like, we didn't talk again for maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
I think probably from 2001-ish, 2002 till about 2011.
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess which brings on, the first release for Goat then came out in 2011. Was this something that brought you back together, or was this a project that you had and you knew you had to bring Mike back on, or?
Well, here's the thing. I was jamming with another. Like, I had bands in between. After I left Bronson Avenue, I was in a band called Our Mistake for probably about 6 years or something, and we did really well. We did really, really well. But then again, you know how bands go, and we were younger, right? We weren't super committed, and our main guitar player, half songwriter, half singer, it was a 2-singer band. He wanted to go off and open a recording studio, which he did, which were in demand then before everyone could do it themselves. Anyway, so I was on my own, and I decided and that wasn't really a punk band, and my roots are punk. I said, I'm going to start a punk band, and I tracked you down. You were working over here at Donnelly. He's a high-end Class A super fucking mechanic guy, and I met him, and he was working on the floor. He was crawling around the floor of a bus, and fixing something, and I said, hey man, I hadn't seen him in fucking 10 years. He's like, oh hey. I said, you want to jam tonight? He's like, okay. And we jammed that fucking night, and then we formed Goat.
The beauty of music brings everybody back together, right?
Yeah. Goat was, we had a bunch of people in it at first, and then, where did we find Paul? We had another bass player, not Cowboy here yet. We'll get to his story, but I was in a band, do you remember the Big Money Shot?
Yep.
88.5, the Big Money Shot? With Our Mistake, we couldn't enter it because Brian worked for 88.5, so it was a conflict of interest. I was also hosting a open mic for 88.5, so it was like we were like the only band in the city who couldn't enter the friggin' thing because we worked for the radio station. So I formed this band called Ohio Jones and the Nobodies. There you go. Ohio's back. It's come full circle. And I wrote like this really quick punk rock EP, and Brian, who owned the recording studio, he had just recorded this band, and they had a drummer and a bass player who were willing to just kind of be my loan out guys, and that was Paulie and a guy named Matt. And I played the Big Money Shot as Ohio Jones and the Nobodies. We didn't win. We should have won, but we were terrible. Come on. And then when we put Goat together, it was Paulie and Matt were the guys, the drummer and the bass player. And then Matt wasn't really working out because he was more of a Chili Peppers kind of. I don't even know. I'm sorry, Matt. He doesn't like me anyway, so I don't give a fuck. And basically I broke the band up, and then I called Mike, and that's when I found Mike, and then I called Paulie, but Paulie and Matt were really good friends, so Paulie didn't want to play the bass right away because there'd be an issue, because Matt was mad at me, still mad at me. And then eventually Paulie came on board, and that's when Goat started. The real Goat as you know it, the Getting Old and Tired. In 2011 is when we started playing shows.
So how did it progress afterwards? Was the lineup always consistent? What was the progression for Goat afterwards?
Yes, it was. We had a great chemistry and we just laughed all the time. We just wrote stupid songs. I know you did your intro where we had songs like Don't Put It In Me and Dirt Squirrel and Ball Gazer, and then we had Gooch Gazer. We had the stupidest songs, but we could get away with it because we were just kind of punk rock dummies, right? And we were a little bit younger and stuff, and Mike wants to play those songs now, and I said we can't play those songs anymore because we're too old. We'll look so dumb. You know what I mean? It's like the time has come and gone for those things. It'll just smack of effort now. Anyway, but it progressed really well, and we just started writing songs. And the process for us is just I'm a overwriter. All I do is write and write and write and write until I hit a dry patch. But I'll write and I'll always bring songs, and I'm always trying to be creative, and that was always the process. I'd write a song at home, I'd bring it to the band, we'd work it out, and we recorded our first EP, Boat, at that same guy, Brian, my old guitar player, opened his recording studio, it was called Shoebox Recording, and Boat was born, and we thought Goat Boat was the funniest thing in the world.
That's hilarious.
Well, you were like 12?
North of 25.
Okay.
And then after that, you had multiple releases. You had X, Tough, Pink, Smooth, and most recently, you had Gloat, released in June 2024. Is there any specific themes that you were exploring for that last EP? Is there anything specific that you were exploring?
Well, there's a little bit to get to Gloat. I'll try and keep it somewhat abbreviated because I could go on for days because a lot has happened. Yeah, we just kept writing songs and kept releasing like EPs and stuff. Nowadays, everyone releases singles, but I would always kind of strive for a record, I suppose, or like a
5 or 6 songs.
Yeah, something like that. And we did Boat, and we did Pink just as a 3-piece, and then as Smooth, we did with Sarah Gott. She's in the band Wet for Days. Mm-hmm. She used to play in a band called Rah Rah Riot in town, and we went and saw a show at the Cuff one time, and that was when I first met her. And I said she would be awesome in Goat, but I was too scared to go talk to her. So Paulie's like, "Oh, come on," the old bass player, and we went up to Sarah, and I was drunk, and she's like, "Oh, hi guys," didn't know her, and Paulie's like, "I think Mike has something to ask you," and I was like, "You band want to be in our guitar good?" And she just stood there and kind of looked at me weird, and that was the last time I talked to her for like 2 years. And then one day I just saw her at a show. I said, "Do you want to come and jam and Goat?" And she's like, "Absolutely." And then she was in the band for a couple years anyway.
2 years.
So we were a 4-piece for a while, and during all the releases, we went up to Skylark Park. It's a studio in Pembroke run by a guy named Jordan Zadarozny. He's best known for Blinker the Star. It's a band called Blinker the Star that were pretty big in the 90s, which I think is cool because if you're big in the 90s, that was a sweet spot in the world. You know what I mean? In the history of music, he was signed to like DreamWorks. And he did a lot of crazy touring. He's known everybody. He's got like writing credits on Courtney Love's records. He was like buds with, he produced the first Sam Roberts record and shit. He has like a Grammy, not a Grammy, but a June, I don't know, something like that. Amazing. Gold record on the wall. Really super good friends with Jordan. We recorded everything up there. Sarah ended up quitting the band. She went off to the West Coast to farm something, to just wanted to do something different. We kept going as a 3-piece. Sarah came back in the band, and then she left again because she had a baby. I think she had a baby, or she was trying to balance. Yeah, a lot of stuff. And then a lot of shows, a lot of really good times in town, out of town, little tours, mini tours, that kind of stuff.
Well, speaking of tours, what were the biggest tours, or what are some highlights that you can maybe think of?
Well, we did a lot of networking through like Toronto and through Montreal. Like we never went, not with Goat. We never went through the States because it just wasn't feasible at the time, like financially, and nobody would, we were just a small like punk outfit. So like, what do you do, right? I guess you could tour and tour and tour, but I don't know. I had done that with Our Mistake, my band in the aughts. And with Goat, it was more of, and it's still kind of the same philosophy now. We just wanted to write songs and play kind of within our, you know, what do I call it? Like the OTA, the GTO, GOA, the Greater Ottawa area, which includes Toronto and Windsor and Kingston and all those
en route run.
That's right. You know what I mean? Out and backs type of thing. You know what I mean? Sleep in your own bed if possible. But 2019, I used to drink a lot. And I think everyone who listens to the podcast, who listens to the podcast knows that. And it got a little kind of out of control, kind of, you know, as anything you do in life, it'll escalate. It'll get a little bit more, you know, and it was starting, it never really affected shows very much, I don't think, to the point where it was.
It affected a lot of shows.
Okay. Guy I learned was on drugs the whole fucking time.
Yeah, I was high. Oh, man.
Fucking
No,
hypocrite.
I was high all the time.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. No.
So
I'm not an angel.
So anyway, it started to affect shows and my performance because it'd be show day, and before on show days you'd wake up and you'd have a beer when you got to the bar, and you try not to keep it down before you play and shit like that. Okay, show days were starting to be like, hey, it's show day. Let's crack a beer at 8 o'clock in the morning. And by the time you get to the bar at 6 o'clock. It's like that saying, you get drunk before you go out drinking.
Yeah.
And by the time you play at 11 o'clock, you're fucking
you can't
wasted.
Stand up. Yeah.
Yeah, so it started to affect the playing, and it started to affect the relationships in the bands that I was in, to the point where I had a friend named Steph who would always tell me, no matter how bad it went, she'd always be like, that was good, it's fine, you know, nobody noticed, everyone had a good time. We had this one show where it was just like, she said that was not good, and everyone was very mad at me, and I think that was when Mike quit the band, and it was right before COVID, like it was 2009, fall of 2019, and then COVID hit, and basically everything just grinded to a halt.
Yeah. And so what happened? You went on hiatus, or what was the next steps for the band, or for yourself? Like,
I think it was a lot of like anyone, just adjusting to like what's going on in the world. You know what I mean? Like, are we ever going to be in abandonment? Are we going to be able to play again? Because there was a lot of misinformation. Nobody really knew what was going on with this thing. They said this could last years, and you know, people didn't want to leave their houses. It was crazy. So I didn't really think about it, and it was almost like at first it was a good little break. You know what I mean? And yeah, I didn't. Again, like I said, me and Mike have gone through some peaks and valleys when it comes to our relationship, and we probably didn't talk again for like 5 years again, just like nothing. So that would bring up Gloat. I think 2 years into COVID, like I said, I always kind of write songs. I started writing at home, just in this room. Well, you know what I mean? And I started building like a catalog of songs, and I was going to release it as like a solo project, like, or maybe Ohio Jones and the Nobodies again. And I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna write a Goat record. These sounds because Goat always was me anyway, like it, you know what I mean, as far as like the core of the lyrics and the writing itself. Couldn't have done it without these guys, mind you, but the songs, I said, I'm just gonna write a Goat record, because, you know, why not? I built the brand, or we've built the brand, it's still there, keep it going. So through COVID, even though the Goat wasn't a band, I wrote a record, and I always kind of stayed somewhat active on social media, just hey, gang, we're still around, right? So I wrote like 16 songs. I ended up recording 12 of them, I think. I went up to Jordan's in Pembroke again, and I recorded them with him over the course of probably a year, I think. And I got some friends to play the drums, and I did everything else, and that was Gloat.
Any shout outs for the drums or anything?
Yeah, I gotta thank Shane Mahar, or as I like to call him, Bozo. Gotta thank Bozo, and I have to thank another one of my oldest friends, who happens to be a drummer, which is odd, is Jason Watts. He is the drummer for the Escape Society.
So in terms of the recording process itself, was that kind of like a standard Goat album for you in terms of the approach, or what? Was there anything different about it? What really drove you in the studio?
I had a point to prove. I think that's why it's called Gloat. Not that I wanted to stick it to anyone individual, but it was just like I was sober at that point. I quit drinking on December 27th, 21, and I didn't start recording the record until like April of 22. And I don't know. Like I said, I had a point to prove to everybody, maybe even to myself. Maybe I was projecting. Gloat was a projection to everybody, but really it was me. Like I told you, I can do this without anybody, you know. And I could, but it wasn't Goat. If you listen to that record, it's a collection of good songs. But if you were a fan of Goat coming up, like listening to Goat and seeing Goat and being part of that circle, it's not the same vibe at all. It's very much a solo project with the brand name.
Yeah, well, I could definitely tell with the songs and the collection of it, there's definitely even, I think, more of an introspective outreach of that message, right? There's a lot of little messages and key ideas that were projected throughout that feel hopeful in a way, but also introspective in others, right?
It's very much the sober record. If you listen to like Lufu, our EP before we broke up, or even X, that's the Cry for Help EPs. Like it's all about drinking, but it's not positive drinking stories. It's all about the things I fucked up and this and that. There's a song called Silver Cans, and it basically described my life at the time. It's just sitting in a basement in front of a wall of empties. That's what silver cans were, because all I ever used to drink was Coors Light. Yeah. And then there's a line in it that says, surrounded by a wall of silver cans that keep me safe. I know it's bad for me, but it takes away the ache, right? So and then you get Gloat, which is all finally hit the wall and I got sober. Like it's all positive fucking thing. So yeah, if you listen to early Goat, it's all goofy. It's fucking stick it up your butt. It's dick and fart jokes and, you know, some punk political offshoot weird stuff. Good stuff. Don't get me wrong. And then it got really introspective. It got really personal. And then it got really hopeful with Gloat. And now we just wrote a song.
Yep.
And it's not personal at all. Like it's so left of like what a lot of the lyrics on Goat were, or on Gloat were, or even like Lufu. But that's good, and that's kind of where we're going with that.
Well, speaking of, I noticed on your social medias, the multiple social medias, you were starting to advertise that there was some big things coming in early 2025. And so then what happened? What brought you towards this next song, and what are the next steps coming up for you? Well,
before we get to that, I think we need to really talk about why the fuck we're even together again, because band was over. Like I said, I did Gloat, did the solo project. I hadn't talked to Mike, I hadn't talked to Polly in 5 years. So I reached out to Mike. I just said, you know what? You wake up one morning and you go, life's too goddamn fucking short, right? We're all adults. And I guess they say when I quit drinking, I never went through like a 12-step program where you have to like, you have to get to a point where you have to forgive yourself, and then you have to find a higher power, and you have to fucking call everyone you've wronged and make it right. Fuck that. You know what I mean? Everyone does it their own way. I just quit. I got healthy. You know what I mean? And one of the things for me, it didn't have anything to do with being sober, but it had to do with my new mindset, and I wanted to mend fences. I also wanted my partner back, my drummer back, because Mike has always, regardless of what I've done in my music career, Mike has always been that part of it. So I figured after 10 years he talked to me, maybe after 5 he will too, right? So
yeah, I did.
So yeah, I sent him an email.
Spoiler alert.
I sent him an email, just, kind of what it was, and I just said, hey man,
I apologized, and I had lots to apologize for. I did because I like I said, I had gone off the rails. So sometimes you just gotta fucking be an adult and face the shit that you did and eat the shit sandwich, and that's what I did. And I said I apologized.
And I accepted, and let's jam.
Yeah, but the big one is that I wasn't drinking anymore. Because you said that. You were very blunt. And I was actually impressed that you said that, because normally you're kind of just a laid back kind of whatever guy. But he's a skier now, and I'm a snowboarder. And when we went snowboarding, and you kind of looked at me kind of squarely, and we were having a conversation. And you said, if you were still drinking, I wouldn't fucking be here. And I was just like, God damn. That was fucking pretty powerful for me. You know what I mean? And I respect it. I respect how you feel, right? So, yeah, we picked up. We started jamming again. Just got a rehearsal spot and just started playing the old tunes and fucking fell right back into it like nothing.
Yeah, it came back pretty easy.
After all that time, for sure. And then I had reached out to Paulie, and that was a bigger shit sandwich I had to eat. And unfortunately, he wasn't as responsive as Mike was, probably because there's not as much history there. And even though we got on good terms, I still felt like he was just kind of humoring the situation. It felt like to me, you know what I mean? He's just like, yeah, I'll be nice to you, but you're still a piece of shit. Or, you know what I mean? It didn't feel genuine. And then I kept engaging conversation and texting and stuff. And then he asked me, so what else are you doing in your life or whatever? And I wrote back, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I haven't heard from him since. It's been 8 months, 6 months, whatever the fuck it's been. So, sorry, man. So, I wish him nothing but the best, but we'll probably never be friends again, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, part of that journey and the growth through it. And if anything, it's good songwriting material. But speaking of, I guess we have someone in the room.
Yeah.
Maybe. So how did you both meet, or how did you all three come together?
Well, this is Mike's was a great storyteller, and that was a long story, but great story. But during all that, I was born, and I rode my bike. I'm a little bit younger, so I was learning how to write. But yeah, I come from Mexico. So as you do, I was just chilling behind Home Depot, as you should do. And then Mike, thankfully, summoned the pentagram of Mexicans. He put a taco and a tequila and a sombrero in place. And then I couldn't find where he was at, so he put a shawarma, and then, okay, he's in Ottawa for sure. Then immigrated, got here. When I was in Mexico, I did play for a band, played a lot of Celtic metal and heavy metal music, bass. And then when I left Mexico, I just was focused on, my new life. So I focused entirely of the possibilities of what can I become in this new country. And forgot about music for a little bit there. Not entirely, but, I was not focusing on that. But then I borrowed a bass from here or like a guitar from there, and then just start again, exercising those brain muscles back into music kind of thing. And then my wife, thankfully, she brought my original bass from back home. That I still had it there, and then she paid like $1 billion to bring it here. And when I saw it, it's like it was just a connection again. I saw the bass, I started playing just by myself, which is for me at least, it's not the greatest experience to play by yourself. I love the group and playing with in a group setting, So start playing, whatnot. Well, I don't think I've told you this part of the story actually, but went back home for Christmas, and I saw all my old bandmates, and they said they all still play. So they took me to their gigs and their shows and their presentations, and they went to their houses, and they still had gear and equipment, and we were remembering things, and my itch for playing in a band again started growing. But I didn't. It's not easy. It's not easy to find a band. So I'm grateful for these guys. They put the resources, they put the time. And I'm happy for that, because it is not easy to have a band, especially a band that commits time and brain power to it. So I appreciate that for these guys. Anyway, so came back to me, and then out of nowhere, coincidentally, a good friend in common of Mike's and I, a guitar Mike, shoot me a text, hey, do you want to join a band? These guys need a bass. And I, at that point, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. Haven't been in a band for a while. I'm rusty in my bass. English is not my first language. And then, maybe this is all musicians, but this is a musician thing. I suck. I hope these guys like what I do because I suck. And I'm just going to show myself who I am. And then, yeah, sure enough, we show at the place. I listened to their songs, and then I showed to the place, and I was able to follow a couple of songs there. And it was fucking click. It was just like a click. Like, okay, I think I can play this song.
It's because we suck too.
That's right.
That's the way it works.
Yeah, this sucking together is awesome. And then, so things that I like when I joined in, I saw the music was very rhythmic. The lyrics were very strong. It is not a cover band. It was like they had a very long piece of music that like they've been working for together, which is something I was looking for. Like, again,
Something that's more established kind of thing where you can get running.
Yeah, and these guys are exercising my creativity muscle of let's write something. So it was an exciting project to say, okay, let's write something. It's something that doesn't exist, right? So something that I did back home, but it never really expired to anything. So this was like, okay, well, maybe I have a chance to write again. So that was exciting. The music was great. It was very rhythmic. It was something I could play. It was something we can play together. The drums were fast. The guitar was fucking angry. It's okay. I like that. This is what I like. So yeah, we jammed a couple of times. Learned a couple of songs. We kept going. And then yeah, the personalities started growing, and we aligned well, and here we are now. We have a taco spot. If you guys want to, no, I'm just joking now.
Yeah, Javier was I knew about Javier about 2 years before he actually joined the band because I met him once in a backyard in Emblem.
That's right. Yeah.
And but that was before I was thinking of putting the Goat back together, and then we're playing live because Goat was a recording project, I guess. And then I called Ryan, who's our friend. Hey, Ryan. I said, does your friend still play bass? And he's like, I guess so. Yeah, you want me to tell him? Ask him? I said, yep. And he came, like he said, he came out and jammed, and it was good. And my big thing, like I touched on earlier, is like we're working on backing vocals. I really wished he could sing. And he said, I can't sing. And I said, oh, come on. Everybody can sing a little bit. And he's like, well, I could learn. I said, okay. And then in my mind, I was just like, I really like the guy. I really like his playing. Doesn't sing, but we can teach him, or, maybe he's not that bad. He can't sing.
Yeah.
I have never met someone who's so good at their instrument that is so unbelievably vocally tone deaf in my life. It's impressively bad, but that's part of his charm.
Well, I don't take it with. I'm grateful that you guys heard it, and now we finally move on from that.
Well, if anything, it's less people to come after the lead vocalist position, right? We already have two mics vying for that.
Oh, that's true.
That's right.
That's
yeah,
true.
Look, just wait.
I'm going to try and ventriloquist myself and do my own harmonies. If I can figure that out, I think we'll be all right. Anyway, yeah, it's been a treat having Javier in the band, and it's probably been a task for him because, like I said, me and Mike know what we're doing without looking at each other. I kind of know what he's going to... Like, when we wrote the beginning of Money, I knew exactly what you were going to do in all those little parts.
Yeah, I knew your guitar riff.
Yeah, right. It's just we know our little picadillos and things like that. So for Javier to come in kind of fresh and just kind of jump on that, it's been great. It really has.
Well, I guess on that theme right there, so you have a new single coming out. Do you want to chat about it? I hear it's called Your Money's No Good Here.
Yes.
Please elaborate.
Okay. See, that's what sometimes that's the way it goes, though, right? Yeah, Your Money's No Good Here is it's the first new song. I really wanted to write something as the new Goat, 2025 Goat. The guys said, well, we can just pick something off Gloat and play. And I was like, that was such a, like I said, that wasn't Goat. That was Goat 2.0, right? This is Goat. And I said, I want to write something that is us, and then I want to record it. So I fast-tracked it, and I put a timetable. I had a riff. Bap, bap, bap. That's it. Remember? I was like, bap, bap, I'm going to build something off this. And I booked a studio time, like a month
No
later.
song. No song.
Nothing. I said, this is
Nothing.
our deadline. We have to get the fucking song done.
New bassist. I barely speaks English.
Yep.
Figure it out.
So we crammed. Plus, we were getting ready for shows. But every last 40 minutes, 45 minutes of band practice, we would work on this song. I'd come home and I'd write a little more, this and that. And it's a busy song. It's a busy, complex, kind of heavy song, guitar heavy, drum heavy song. For a 3-piece, it's big. It's a big song. Like, outdid ourselves. And it turned out awesome. And it was just determination to get it done. I had something, again, maybe I had something to prove. But we did it, and everyone nailed it. And we went to the studio, and we finished it in an afternoon. And we went to Hillside Audio with an old friend of mine, Cameron Dunn. We've worked with him years ago. And I said, you know what? We're not going to go up back to Pembroke. This is a brand new start. We're going to go to Cameron. And he was awesome. And the recording sounds awesome. I'm so fussy and picky, though. I've driven him crazy with the mixes. He sent me one mix. He's like, I think it sounds pretty good. And I honestly think he thought I'd be like, yeah, okay, we're done. Fuck, that was a month ago.
170,000 mix
Dude,
notes later.
I've offered him money. Like, I'll pay. I feel bad. I'll pay you more money. He's like, no. Got it mastered, submitted it.
Ooh.
Listened to it again, found something wrong with it, called him back. I said, we gotta fucking pause the fucking submission on my fucking distribution. And oh my god. So we're in limbo again. I don't know. Anyway. But it's a good song and it'll be out August 1st.
August 1st.
That's the date, yeah. We wanted to go for this Thursday. That's not gonna happen.
No.
Everyone's older though. Cam has a life. Like, he's got kids, he does this part-time, he has a job, you know what I mean? He's not there at my beck and call. And I have to remember that sometimes. Like, when I send him like, hey, this is blah, 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 he might not get back to me for 2 days, and in my mind I'm like, that motherfucker's dodging me, but he's not. He's living his fucking life. You know what I mean? I just gotta calm down. But you know, we gotta get stuff done in a manner, else it won't get done. Especially in this fucking haunted house I call my brain.
All right, well, we're going to hear it here first. Your Money Is No Good Here by the band Goat, right here on Ego and Vice.
Fuck the elite, fuck the oligarchy. Power and influence distorts what you believe. Force down on your knees, choke on this lip democracy. You breed repressed media, rhetoric sleaze. You can't buy us off with worthless cash and cloud. Your money's no good here. You can't shut us up. There's too many hungry mouths. Your money's no good here. Fuck the corrupt, fuck kleptocracy. The poor eat poor, the rich waste everything you need. Forced down to your knees, stuck on this limp democracy. You bleed, fight for family and dignity. You can't buy us off with worthless cash and cloud. Your money's no good here.
Well, especially when it comes to music, sometimes you just kind of keep looping around and
Yeah.
looping. Sometimes you just got to find yourself a deadline to get it out, or else
Yeah.
it's never going to leave.
You know it. You know what I mean? Like Max is fucking in. You're in one of the best bands that has come through Ottawa in a long time, and trust me, I've been around for a long time. For the character you guys have, to the showmanship, to the music.
But I appreciate it. And, well, if anything, too, it's always nice to see bands coming back to the scene. And I guess for Goat, you just had 2 big shows that just came out. You had one at the Dom back in July, and you had one at in Carlton Place, if I remember correctly.
Yes, there's a guy named. I'm also in a band called the Riptides.
Yeah.
And the Riptides, I never stopped being in the Riptides. Andrew and Robert Mills, they're pretty much a legendary punk band in Canada now because they've been together for 30 years, right? And anyway, that's a whole different podcast. Anyway, they knew a guy named Tyler who lives in Carlton Place who used to do music or something. I'm not sure. Sorry, Tyler. But he started a production company called Stage Riot Productions, and he basically wanted to focus on all ages shows for kids to discover like music. And it's hard for kids to go out because they can't go to bars and stuff like that. So all ages shows are always fun, and especially in punk rock because kids are so into that. You know what I mean? Something fast, something loud. They're jumping around. So Tyler asked me. He actually asked the Riptides, but we had another agenda, and I guess Bob from the Riptides said, "Ask Mike," because Goat's back together, and he asked me, and I said, "Fuck yeah, I'm doing all ages show." Ask these guys, and we were all good for it. And the best thing about all ages shows is that kids can't buy booze, so they buy merch. But we've been out of the game, and we're kind of older now. We forgot that kids don't really carry cash. We should have got one of those fucking debit machines. Because when I say, well, you can e-transfer, they're like, that's a lot of
Too much
work.
effort.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we didn't sell as much merch, but we had a great time. And Stage Right Productions, check it out.
Yeah, and that's such a sweet concept. It's in line with what you've been doing in the scene for the last little bit, too. I find anything to bring attention to the music in the area and to bring the community in and have access to it. It's so important. You need to have stuff like that.
I've always been big on the Ottawa music community, and that can stretch as far as Carlton Place for sure. And I think there should be communication. I think there should be networking. I think, like they say, the definition of community, it's everyone together working together and watching each other's backs and making sure dogs don't shit on your lawn and whatever. You know what I mean? And I've been in this music scene forever, and I've taken so much from it. And with Ego and Vice, your podcast.
Yeah, my famous podcast, Ego and Vice, 20 times aluminum.
That's right. I just try and give back to the scene that has been so good to me. And if the podcast does that and music does that, or even just making friends with people and, talking music, because what's better than sitting around and talking about music? It's the best. Yeah. So, yeah. And, I've been at this we've been at this a long time. I ran into Scallon last night. I went and saw Maddie Grace and Jesse Brewer from the Flydowns and Walt Hamburger at Dominion. They did like an acoustic show, and it was a Spectrasonic show. And we used to get booked through Spectrasonic back in the day. We did the CJ Ramon show. We did the I think was it Cross Dog, or we did Belvedere. We did SNFU. Yeah, and then we did a lot of work with Christina from Chord Productions as well. But I ran into Scallon for the first time, and I talked to him, and I don't think he liked me then. I don't think he likes me now. Anyway, I like you too, Sean. You're a good dude, man. Always were. But Christina, when we go back together, I called Christina, and I sent feelers out to you guys, just people that I'd had on the podcast that I stayed in contact with. And I sent Christina a message, and because we used to do a lot of stuff, because she does a lot of punk and metal stuff. And she got back to me like right away. She's like, "Can you guys play the 12th of July or June?" And it was like July 5th. And I'm like, "Yes." And I asked these guys, "You want to play?" And they're like, "Yes." It was a lot sooner than we had expected, but we got it together, and that was the big kind of comeback show.
And how was it to be back? Like, especially for the big break for, I guess, had you been playing in between as well, or?
No, I took about a 5-year break. I haven't even I just didn't want to touch the drums anymore. But when Mike called me back, got back together, and it was. I didn't realize how much I missed playing the drums.
Yeah. And for the first show, how did that go? Like first show back?
Well, it was fun. We had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah,
We were
fun.
jumping around, like you do. You focus on your mistakes and you said, "Oh my gosh, I did this and did that." But then you look at it from a general perspective and from far away, and you're like, a feeling you have when you are playing with your buddies, and then it's just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was great, and also the other bands that play in the same show, they were great. So in general, the whole show was fantastic.
There's something pretty special about it, and you can't explain it to people who've never done it, like a show day, and just the whole vibe leading up to it, and then you get to the gig, and I know it's a lot of sitting around and shit, and you do like a line check or a sound check, but then the other bands are there, and you always have that kind of like, oh, how's it going, this and that, and you have that chat, and I don't know, there's that kind of camaraderie. Sometimes you get along really well, and then you go for your little walk with your band, or you just do your thing, or they all go in separate ways, and then it's like, it's just that irreplaceable kind of fun feeling, and once you do that once, it's in you forever. And people who don't like playing shows or don't like that kind of thing, it's just like, I don't get it, because it's just, that's what it's all about, right? It's just like writing songs is amazing and recording songs is amazing, but until you get up on stage and you actually just perform them and have fun with your friends, it's like such a privilege and it's such a treat to be able to do. And to take such a long time off and then get to, and thinking it was never going to happen again with this kind of, with this band, and then to do it, to answer your question, how did it feel for me? It felt like redemption. It felt right. It was like, see, it felt like gloat. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Done.
Another funny story is before I even get back into music, I used to walk around the downtown area by Ward and see the Dominion and say, oh, I wish I played one day there. Walked through and said, ooh, I know it looks like a hole in a wall, but I'm like, ooh, I wish I can play one day there. Finally, like the first show was like, do you want to play there? Oh, fuck yeah, I want to play there.
Dom is the Dom is a it's like an institution. It's like a legendary fucking pillar of the the community.
And you can tell right away. You walk across it, this is the place to be, right? One of the places to be, at least.
What are the plans for GOAT for 2025 and 2026? Is there anything else coming up, or?
Yes. We are doing another. Well, like I said, the song itself is going to come out on August 1st. We filmed a video for it, which is coming out on August 1st as well. It's all just going to drop together. We have some shows lined up for the fall. There's probably not too much that's going to happen in July, August. I've always been kind of, and we've probably talked about this on the podcast before, where I've always had this really strict kind of don't exhaust your draw in Ottawa. Guys like the new hires, you guys could play anywhere and rock a room, right? Guys like GOAT, it's a little tougher because it's, you know what I mean? So we try and make the shows kind of more spread out and have to kind of build it a little more for people to stay interested. So especially just getting back on the horse, let's say.
And anything out of town? Other?
We're just happy to be back right now. We're not looking too much further than anything. We're a little bit older. You know what I mean? I'm just happy to be back. We're just looking for something more local, more surrounding area, just like we used to. Play some shows. If we can drive home that night, be in bed, that sounds fucking great. I ain't driving across Canada sleeping on the floor of nobody's fucking house.
No.
I ain't sleeping on the floorboards of a fucking rental car in some truck stop. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing it. So, to answer your question, yeah, there's lots going on, but it's going to be close to home.
Yeah. Well, at least I'm happy to hear that big things are coming soon, and happy to see you back into the scene in full force. Yeah. I guess it's time for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 questions with the band. Yes, sir.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Time for 13 questions with the band. Yes, this segment's back again. It's called 13 questions, but I only asked 6, maybe 5.
All right, so I came up with a list of questions. A lot of this is very simple, very, very straightforward, but a couple of these I think you you're going to enjoy. So the first one is, what was the result of the beef with Slipknot? Has that been resolved?
Oh, those fuckers, man.
Yeah,
Corey
good
Taylor and
question, eh?
his fucking rock stardom. Pending.
No comments.
The outcome is pending. We're probably gonna lose. No, nothing. What he's talking about is that there's a certain symbol that goat has always used. It's a silhouette or an outline of a just like a goat head. And if you look back through our catalog, that symbol has always been there as our kind of brand image. And recently in 2024-25, Slipknot, who've always had some sort of goat imagery, has this very similar looking goat thing on their jumpsuits. And basically I wrote just a social media post saying, not accusing anyone of anything, not trying to take on Slipknot or the fucking industry. It's just, I just want you to know, if you see the goat head, don't be like, oh, these guys are ripping off Slipknot, because ours has been around for almost 15 years.
So your lawyers will be in touch.
No, because I believe in freedom to
Goat?
yes, if you will. So there you go.
Awesome. The next one, what track best represents the band if you had to pick one out of the whole discography?
Ooh.
Javier's probably more familiar with the songs than we are now. He listens to them. He's actually a fan. Oh, fuck.
I think, well, I don't know. I think Chicken Feet is something that is just goofy.
Chicken Salt?
Chicken Salt, my bad. Chicken Salt, for sure, is goofy, and is, I think the live version at least has a more technical sound, and it's fun, and it's fast, and it's angry, but also it's happy, and it's joyful. I would say that one. That's my opinion. I will ask these guys.
All right, mine would be Chasing Ghosts. That's pretty much got a little everything of what we've been doing in the last 20 years.
I'm going to say, because I'm most excited about what's going on, is I'm going to say Your Money Is No Good Here, because it covers all the bases, the bigness, trying to make a three-piece as big as possible. I wrote them all, so I can say what I want. It's the newest one, so it's my favorite. And it does represent goat, because that is goat now.
What are some of the most unlikely influences that people will be surprised to hear about if you were to say them?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, good questions, buddy. Yeah, good job.
I'm a big fan of Missy Elliott.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
I love her music.
Oh, yeah?
It's great.
So do you say her music influenced you?
I don't think there's any influence there, but I'm just a fan.
Well, I think Ikebe Shakedown. It's a band from New York, I think. They play like big band jazzy stuff with a metal and whatnot. I really like their rhythm, so maybe that's what I would choose. Yeah.
My offbeat kind of things that influence me is I love Bruce Springsteen. I love the attitude of Bruce Springsteen. I love his melodies. I love how he constructs stuff. I love how you can listen to a Bruce Springsteen song and it's like you feel kind of sad, or you feel kind of like nostalgic for something you haven't even, like the river. You go down to the river. It feels like I've been to that river. I love that shit. It's not punk rock by any means, but it's pure, genuine, wonderful storytelling, songwriting. Bruce Springsteen. I love anything acoustic with like melody and stuff. Older R&B stuff. I love like Sam Cooke, stuff like that. Anything that just kind of. One of my favorite songs to listen. My favorite song of all time is Billy Idol, "Dancing with Yourself." It's the greatest pop song ever written. That's a good one. And Ike Turner and Tina Turner's version of "Proud Mary." Fucking knock your fucking socks off every time I listen to it.
Is the Bowl-a-thon still part of your annual traditions?
That was a Christmas tradition. I don't know. December's coming.
Yeah.
And Max, you're invited.
There you go.
We should have a goat new hires bowl off. Bowl off. Yeah, those were fun. We used to do Secret Santa. Hi, Sarah, again. Yeah, that's Sarah's idea.
And then the last one I have for you, if you could describe, or if you could use an acronym to describe GOAT, what would it be? Other than GOAT.
Well, oh my God.
We're getting really meta here.
Yeah, no shit. I am gonna choose the title of our fifth EP, Lufu. And that stood for Love You, Fuck You. And I think that kind of sums up the how I feel anyway. For most things, you know.
My brain is running in overdrive. I had to come up with something.
That's okay.
I'm drawing a blank.
Lastly, I want to thank everyone that kind of stuck with us throughout the long years that we've been in and out of everything. I want to thank Polly. I really want to thank Matt. I want to thank Nick. I want to thank Sarah. I want to thank Jordan. I want to thank Brian. I want to thank Jay and Bozo, Shane Mahar, Jesse, and these guys, because what would we do? I've proven I can't. I can do it without you, but it sure ain't the same. I think lastly, I'd like to thank Steph, who was my partner in crime for a long time. We had a heck of a ride, and we also had a falling out, and it's a real shame. And I wish things could have been different. I really do. And I wanted to say I'm sorry. And I hope one day we're on good enough terms to have a conversation. Anyway, I hope you're well.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I just want to take a moment to thank Getting Old and Tired, and by that I mean Mike, and Javier for being on the show today.
You call him Cowboy.
It's an honor to be here at Ego and Vice with Cowboy, specifically.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for having us.
And just to have the opportunity to chat shop with another great local band. So I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing for the rest of 2025 and beyond. And thank you for allowing me to be on the podcast.
Thank you for having us, Max.
Thanks, Max.
It was really fun being on this side of the window. As we know, the jig is up. I asked Max to fill in as a guest host, and you did an amazing job.
Thank you. You called in sick, some might say.
I called in sick, and like I said, there was a lot of people I was thinking about, but I'm glad I made the choice I did, and it worked out great. It was fun. Yeah. How'd you like being the host of a podcast?
It was a terrible time. No, it was a great time.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Such as
We
my
had
life.
highs, we had lows.
Yeah,
We went on
we
a
had
journey.
seasons
In the
in
sun?
the snow. In the sun?
Well,
I don't even know. I think it's the snow. Anyway.
Well, that was awesome. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you next time on Ego and Vice.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thanks, Max.
See ya.
So you said you're gonna hit the road, try and find a better place. Well, don't you go, motherfucker, don't go, motherfucker, don't go. Tired of carrying the same old load, easier to walk away. Well, don't you go, motherfucker, don't go, motherfucker, don't go. Actions have consequences. You feel you're better left alone than try and figure out what's wrong. Community is what you need, but you'd rather do it on your
Okay. All kidding aside, I just really want to thank Max for coming out and hosting the special presentation of Ego and Vice. GOAT. I can't host my own show. Could I? I guess I could, but, whatever. If you want to get a hold of me, you can always reach me at egoandvice@gmail.com. If you want to check out the podcast, go to egoandvicepodcast.com. My home base, my fortress of solitude. Everything you need to see is there. Go there and enjoy. Other than that, like I said, there will be some changes coming up with Ego and Vice. I have some shows that I'm going to debut, some fun stuff like we did today, some guest hosts. Just stay tuned. Ego and Vice will prevail, and it will go on. Until next time. Anyway, I'm still on summer break. I'm going to go back to it. Later.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Born and raised in South Bay, lower class punk ass, I was Northwood grade. I had it made. Spent my nights drinking with my mates. Just a short bus ride up to PA. Red River Red. Then I hit the wall and I knew I had to bounce. They still say that 19 years ago, well, I got the hell out. From time to time you may see me hanging around. Now I feel like a stranger in this town. Crocs and rolls is where I learned to play. Westwood Tavern's where I